All right, welcome everybody to day 2 of the high ticket sales process for implementation week. It's good to see you guys. As always, first of all, let me just take 30 seconds to quickly greet everybody. Let's see who's here on time. As always, guys, let me know in the chat, put in the comments where you're connecting from, what time it is in your local time zone. Today is going to be a big day. We are going to be talking about what happens after a person schedules a call. We're going to talk about the process, the tech, the integrations. So we've got people from Egypt, 3 in the morning, 8 in the morning in Thailand, 5 p.m. in San Francisco. Puerto Rico is 9 at night. So first of all, oh man, Hollywood, Philippines, Singapore, Malaysia, Puerto Rico, Orlando, Spain, 2 in the morning. You guys from Europe, just wanted to acknowledge you crazy people for being here right now. It's always something I tell myself, like whenever I feel tired, I'm just trying to remind myself, you guys that literally, stayed up all night or maybe went to sleep at 6 in the evening just to make it here, that's something I do not take lightly, and I'm going to do everything in my power to really make it well worth your time, because day 2, I'm going to be covering one of my favorite pieces, and you'll find out why that's going to be one of my favorite pieces in a second, or rather in about 2 hours or so. So let's talk about the game plan for today. What's our game plan? Well, today is the day we are going to continue from where we left off, which is what happens after a person schedules a call, right? Today is the day we're going to talk about when a person schedules a call and after somebody gives us their name and email, what actually happens. And by the way, team, can I have everybody, let's just put everybody's video at the back. I think it's easier for me to kind of see everyone. So the question is, what happens after somebody schedules their call, right? And I'm just going to bring up the slide that I used yesterday to show you guys the big picture of how it looks like. Today is when we're going to talk about the follow-up sequences. Once we get somebody's name and email, what actually happens? Because we can't expect somebody to instantly get on a call immediately. Some people might require a couple of follow-ups, right? So on day 1, in the first 30 minutes of the event, I showed you guys this framework. I talk about how the 3 days that we're going to be working on together over here is going to be based upon this framework. I talked about, so let's take a quick 3-minute recap on what it is that we've done so far, what our objective is, so that we can understand why we are working on this next piece in the next hour, right? So we talked about how right now the entire system, the value ladder is broken. We talked about why marketers have been literally, the reason why they're struggling right now is because they're trying to build up this value ladder. If they get started off, right now they get a course, and most trainings, events, coaching materials talk about you got to build up this value ladder, only to realize that it's extremely hard to be profitable upfront, and that's why we got to be able to do things differently. I talked about the only 2 type of sales processes that a person can use today in order to be profitable upfront, and how the high ticket funnel is one of them, and the other one being the the event funnel. So for this specific example, this would be the flow. We talked about how if you want to have a highly scalable business, we must be able to build up something that allows us to put $1 in and get back $3 out immediately on the front end. And if we can do that, that is when we would have a highly scalable business. So that's why in the first 1 hour of the event yesterday, I gave you guys the calculator that my team and I personally use in order to estimate how profitable or unprofitable a sales process might be before we even start running ads. We want to be able to understand the different stages of the sales process and what are the different metrics to put in and target, so that we have a rough idea on what we should be working towards in order to make this sales process profitable. So after plugging in some numbers, I talked about how based on this model, once somebody opts in, we want to be able to understand, well, how much are we paying per lead, right? Whether the lead's coming from Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, we want to understand, well, how much are we paying per lead? After a person opts in, we want to be able to see, well, how many % of people are applying to this call, and what is our cost per application, and how much we're paying per application. Team, do you mind switching off one of the things? There's a slight feedback over here. Then the next thing is, after they schedule their call and they fill up the application form, when they go to the confirmation page, how many people actually show up on this call? Therefore, we need to know what is our cost per show up. And when they finally get on the call, and if they're a good fit and we accept them, what does it cost us per sale? Okay, so I talked about how it's really just about understanding these few numbers for this specific sales process, because the path to scaling is all math. And if you can understand what your return on ad spend is, which is for every $1 you put in, what is the instant returns that you get, that's how you get a highly scalable business for this specific sales process. So yesterday, what have we done? Yesterday, we worked on this page first, right? We worked on the bullet points, what a person will discover if they were to get on a strategy call, and hopefully that was one of the homework that you guys did. You've claimed the funnel, you've utilized, you've built up the bullet points, you plugged it in here, right? Yesterday, what did we do? We worked on the video script, which is what do you say in this video so that it is educational. This is where I walked you through the 5-step framework, where you begin with what the problem is, with an urgent problem, with a unique solution, with a uplifting education, with a user-friendly proposition, and finally an urgent call to action, which is getting them to apply on a call, right? So that was where we left off yesterday. So today, what we're going to be doing is we're now going to move to the next steps. Now, what are the next steps? The next steps is, so our agenda for day 2 now is we're going to think about, well, what should go onto this confirmation page. Now, there's a reason why we're not doing this just yet, because this step over here, which is the calendar and application, is tech. And tech is something that we'll do in the second portion of today, because tech has got a few different things, and we're just going to do tech all in one go. Okay, so we're going to talk about what happens over here. Once a person applies for a call, how do we make it so that they're excited, they want to show up on this call, the show-up rates are going to be high, or at least hit the benchmark of 70%, right? Ultimately, when you saw the KPI of the sheet that I gave you guys, right, 70% is the benchmark. So the question is, what should we say on this video? Okay, how do we make it so that a person is excited? Okay, that's going to be one of the first things we'll work on, the script for this specific video. Another thing that we're going to be working on today is going to be this, which is, well, once a person gets on a call, right, what should we say, right? I know that for some of you, this can be a very scary experience, okay? And even like myself, I personally don't do this, okay? I can sell one-to-many, but I would rather train people to do these calls than doing these calls myself. Now, this really depends on the stage that you're at in your business. Obviously, if you're just starting out, if you're a solopreneur, then this is good practice so that you can understand the process itself, right? Before you start training somebody else, you understand the problems, the struggles, the fears, right? So it's good to start off doing it yourself. But if you reach a certain stage in business, of course, this is when you want to have team members doing it for you, right? So I'm going to be showing you how you could be doing this, or how your team members could be doing this, based on how we do it. Okay, calls. Today we're also going to be talking about walking you through the nurture sequence, right? If you take a look at this model over here, know that the return on ad spend that we calculate is the immediate return on ad spend after somebody goes through this funnel. Now, what it doesn't take into account is what happens when a person goes through a nurture sequence after 1 week, after 2 weeks, after 1 month. It could be the case that sometimes a person requires multiple follow-up sequences. I mean, you think about this event, right? Chances are, for some of you over here, you are here in this room right now because there was a few follow-up processes, right? with the exception of the two of you, right? The two of you, I think, like the first point of contact, like they sign up, okay? But for some people, it might require a couple of emails, a couple of follow-ups. Same thing with, those on you on Zoom right now. For those of you that's on Zoom right now, I'd like you to think about how many, follow-ups you went through before you signed up for this event, right? For some of you, maybe it was the first email, right? Great, but for some of you, maybe it was the fifth point of contact, right? That made you go, okay, you know what? I'm going to come for this event. So, in other words, over here, this is where I'm going to show up. I'm going to show you the sequences that we have in place. Now, what is the nurture sequences? There's a few different sequences, right? Number one is, what if they just opted in here, but they didn't apply for a call? Now, based on the benchmark, I want to see who's paying attention right now. Based on the spreadsheet that I gave you yesterday, what's the percentage of people not applying for the call? Not applying for the call, right? 95%, right? So think about it this way, right? Even if you hit your benchmarks of 5% of people applying for the call, there's still 95% of people not applying for a call. And that's a lot of leads, right? So if you don't have a nurture sequence, if you don't have a follow-up email sequence, there's a lot of sales and leads that's being left on the table, because naturally follow-ups are required, right? So this is where I'm going to show you the sequences, and I'm not just going to teach you how to create these sequences. I'm literally going to give you the same exact emails that we use already plugged into the sales process account. All you got to do, again, is just edit, fill in the blanks, and you're set. Okay, so we're going to be doing the nurture sequences. So, and then tomorrow, that is when we are going to talk about ads, fueling the funnel, and just kind of completing the entire sequence. And then on, for those of you that's here at the live event, on day 4, we're going to spend the entire day just shooting videos, marketing assets, and anything that helps you complete the funnels, and having my tech guys here look through to see if there's anything broken for you guys, right? So that's the game plan for today. Okay, so let's start off this session. Okay, so before we begin this first session here today, talking about the confirmation page over here, I always like to be able to get you guys to think about what are the necessary action steps based on your biggest takeaways from day 1 that you're committed to doing or rolling out or working on if you haven't done it yet. Okay? Because for all of you, it's going to be different. For some of you, you've already shot the videos, you've already integrated the bullet points, you've done all of that. Okay? For some of you, maybe you haven't done it just yet. Maybe for some of you, you had some ideas and you thought to yourself, oh man, that was an amazing idea. It's something I need to do one day. Okay? So here's what I'd like you to do. I'd like you to turn over to a new page, write down action plan, and I'd like you to take maybe 90 seconds to just list down, based on the biggest things that you got from day 1, what are the action steps you should be taking that if you did those steps, it will make all the difference for you in your business and your life. Okay, because for each of you, it might be different. Okay, better yet, once you've listed down the action steps, on the right-hand side, try to think about a deadline associated to the action step, so that you would be compelled to take action on it, right? Because a dream without a deadline remains a dream. Okay? Take 2 minutes to do this. Binod says, what's the best lead magnet for opt-in page? We're not at that step yet. Okay? We've only done this step, but we haven't touched this step yet, and there's a reason for that, because the opt-in is going to be based on what it is that you do over here. Okay, so we're not at that step yet. All right, guys, please take 2 minutes to do that. Once you've done that, list it in the chat. I want to be able to see it. before we work on the confirmation page. Okay, please begin. Okay, can I have the music down, please? Okay, so I can see that most of your action steps are completing the bullet points, putting into the funnels. Okay, some of the action steps, by the way, are the things that we are going to be doing today. So, like John, like email sequences done. By the end of today, you're going to realize that your entire nurture sequence, I've done the heavy lifting for you. You just need to plug and play and fill in the blanks. And some of you familiarize yourself with, Zuli says, familiarize yourself with sales process. Okay, awesome, right? So this is where you're going to realize the architecture, the infrastructure, the assets. What makes this event different is I'm not just teaching you the strategy. My goal here is to really eliminate every excuse, reason, or justification that you might have by literally handing the assets to you, by showing you the strategy on how to use it as well, so that you best maximize it. Okay, so let's begin with this segment over here now. Okay, so now we are moving to the confirmation page, and now start on working on this script. Why is this script so important? I can tell you that the difference with a video here and a good pre-frame and one without can be the difference between a 10% show up and a 70% show up. That's the difference. It's literally something that can make or break the entire sales process. Okay, so this is where let's begin with the confirmation script. Okay, how many of you here would like to be able to maximize your show up rates? Okay, so let's talk about what needs to happen. Okay, now the first thing that needs to happen when a person lands on your page, number one, please write down acknowledge. Typically, whenever in doubt, if you don't know how to start off a video, and if a video is a step in your sales process, you can never really go wrong acknowledging the audience for the step they did before. Okay, so just make it a habit that whenever there's a video in a step of your sales process that isn't the first step, it's almost always to acknowledge them for the previous step, right? So for example, it would be like, if it's not the first step, so somebody bought a book, on the next page, which is typically an upsell, it will always be acknowledging them. Congratulations for making the right decision for getting this book. I know you're going to absolutely love it, right? You can never go wrong acknowledging that step, right? Because what you're doing is you are enforcing the decision and the decision made and telling them it was the right decision. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is you're just going to acknowledge them. So in this case here, what do you think it's going to be? It's just acknowledging them for taking action to get on this call. Okay, so when you acknowledge somebody, you got to be able to show them why it was the right decision, right? So it's like, it's going to be, congratulations for booking your call. It is now confirmed. I know that you're going to absolutely love it because we're going to walk you through fill in the blanks, right? Result. So once you have acknowledged them, which is congratulations for making the right decision, the next thing that we're going to do is we want to be able to show them, so why is it a good decision? It is because we want to talk about the result. Okay, typically think about one result that is going to help them, what the strategy call is going to do for them. Like one big promise or result. Okay, so it will be, Congratulations for booking your call with us. I know that you're going to absolutely get clarity on your fitness goals. And by the end of this call, okay, so you can always walk a person through the result by saying, by the end of. Okay? So, congratulations for booking a call. I know you're going to absolutely love it, because by the end of this call, I'm going to give you a 12-month blueprint on what you need to do exactly in your business to lower your overheads, eliminate wastage, and improve efficiency in your business. Okay, so it's typically by the end of this call, right? Result. Once you've talked about the result, the person, it's like, oh man, I'm going to get this one thing, right? What you want to be able to do then is the process. Right? Think about the process that you're going to go through with them in order to achieve that result. Okay? So typically, this could be utilizing the words, this would be like the how. This would be, and the way we're going to do that is, right? How we're going to be able to achieve that is, right? The process, the how. So, for example, and by the way, this is also where you could take a look at the bullet points that you have utilized and wrote down, and utilize that as the talking point, right? Because that's literally what you promised them, right? You said that on this call, this is what you'll discover, right? 1, 2, 3. Okay? So, the how. What is the how? So, congratulations for booking your call. I know you're going to absolutely love this call, because by the end of this call, I'm going to be able to help you reduce your Facebook ad cost per lead by a very conservative 20% by just making 3 small tweaks and changes in your current ad campaigns. The way we're going to do that is by looking at your creatives, your targeting, as well as your retargeting. Right? So a very simple how. Right? Result, how we're going to be doing that. Right? Congratulations for booking your call. By the end of this call, I am going to help you achieve exponential growth by helping you create a personalized 3-month blueprint to help you identify the low-hanging fruits in your business. The way we're going to be doing that is to look at your current methods of lead gen, how to double how much a customer is worth to you, to help you double your conversions, as well as the frequency of how often a customer comes back. Right? That's the how. That's the how to deliver the result. Okay? Now, before I move on to the next steps, I want you to kind of, this too is a very important piece of the puzzle. Before we move on to the next step, I'd like you to think about these. The first one is pretty straightforward, right? It's just congratulations. Okay, now, slight nuance here is, if you train me enough, okay, write down the words thank you and put a big X over it. Always, never, ever utilize the words thank you. One of the most common mistakes good marketers even make is they say thank you for booking a call, right? Thank you for your purchase. Thank you for filling in the blanks. Thank you is considered weak languaging, because typically, when do you say thank you? Thank you is when somebody does you a favor, right? Somebody holds the door for you, you say thank you. When somebody does something that is beneficial to them, for example, they just booked a call. This call is a call that's going to add value to them. You're not going to say thank you. They just made the right moves for themselves, right? So you congratulate them. So one of the things that I'd like you to remember as a marketer is, when somebody buys something, when somebody opts in, when somebody registers for your training, when somebody schedules a strategy call. Never thank them. Like I see this being utilized so often in marketing. People don't get these little things that make a big difference in psychology, right? So congratulations for booking this call. I know you're gonna absolutely love it because by the end of this call, you're gonna be able to get fill in the blank result. And the way we are gonna be able to achieve that is by looking at fill in the blanks, by working on fill in the blanks, by helping you get clarity on fill in the blanks, right? How? Okay. So before we move on to the next thing, here's what I'd like you to do. I'd like you to work on this very simple first portion. Put it in the comments. Let me take a look once that's done. And then I'll also work with you guys over here in the room before we move on to the next step. Okay, please take 2.5 minutes to do this before we move on to the next step. Okay, please begin. All right, begin finishing up. Begin finishing up. Okay, let's do a quick example so that you guys can see how this thing works. I know that for most of you, you guys have the script done. Who here isn't like a completely 100% sure yet? I know Stella. Okay, so Stella, walk us through what it is that you have right now. I know that you had you wanted some clarification, but walk us through based on this what it is that you've done, and then I'll help you polish it out.
Congratulations for booking your call. I know you absolutely loved it. By the end of the call, you will have created a roadmap for beginning your property investing journey.
Okay, so let's begin with the end in mind, right? So congratulations for booking your call. I know you're going to absolutely love this call because by the end of this call, you're going to have your customized property roadmap completed. And the way we are going to do that, the how, is by looking at your investing profile, your risk management, how leveraged you are, your credit score, as well as your current circumstances in order to build up this customized game plan. All right? So notice what I'm doing over here. It is acknowledge, result. By the end of this thing, this is going to be done. How we're going to get this customized roadmap is by working on these few things. Okay? I noticed that, Danielle, you had a question on how do we rearrange the process. Okay, so Danielle had a question over here. Team, can you just scroll up over here? Let me just clarify that as well. So Danielle's question is, team, scroll up. So my question is, how do we rearrange the process and give them the information without giving away the offer? You're not making any offer over here, Danielle. You're showing them why they should book this call and what's in it for them, right? So if you're giving them a dieting plan, you're not giving away the diet plan on the call. right? So yes, you're not selling the thing. You're showing them the process right now of why they should book the call. That's it. So it would be, so if it's a dieting plan, if it's fitness, it would be, congratulations for booking this call. By the end of this call, one result, I'm going to show you how you can kickstart your entire fitness journey, even if you haven't worked out in the last decade. And by the end of this call, you're going to be able to see exactly what it is that you need to be doing over the next 3 months, 6 months, and 12 months in order to cut your body fat month after month. And the way we're going to do that is by looking at your goals, your body fat, your body type, in order to determine and see what type of nutrition, workouts that you should be doing that would be sustainable so you get long-term results, right? That's the how. Okay, anybody else? Stella, is that help?
Yeah, definitely.
All right, okay, let's try another one. Somebody that's not clear, okay? So if you're already good, that's fine, only if you're not clear about this, okay? So let me help you with this. Okay, Joseph, go ahead.
Congratulations on booking
Let me see if it's switched on. Yes, put it, yeah, next to you.
Congratulations on booking your call with us.
You put it a little bit nearer so they can hear you. Okay, go ahead.
Congratulations on booking your call with us. By the end of this call, I'm gonna give you a blueprint. I'm gonna give you a blueprint.
Okay, so let's pause 1 second. It is what I'm going to give you is not a result, right? The result is by the end of that 30 minutes, what's the result? By the end of the 30 minutes, you're going to get clarity. By the end of 30 minutes, you're not going to know exactly what to do in the next 12 months. By the end of that call, you're going to be able to see what are some of the different things you could be doing in order to trim off 15% of your overheads. By the end of this call, you're going to be able to see exactly the next type of property you should be investing in. By the end of this call, right, what's the result, right? Not what it is I'm going to teach you, not what I'm going to show you, not what I'm going to give you, but what's the result, what's the outcome.
You will get a clarity to what you need to do exactly in your business to lower your operating expenses, maintain a higher occupancy rate, eliminate stress, and improve efficiency in your business by providing you with pragmatic steps to managing your properties on autopilot to live the life of your dreams without entering the world of sleepless nights over tenants, management, and maintenance requests.
Okay, here's how we can polish this up, right? So first, let's be very clear about the result. What do you think the result is, Joseph, for getting on this call? Like at the end of this thing, at the end of 30 minutes, what's going to happen? Let's just begin with this first.
Reduce expenses, eliminate stress, and have like a system to run the properties.
Okay. The most important one that you said, what do you think it's going to be out of the three?
The system.
Correct. So, congratulations for booking on this call. I know you're going to absolutely love it because by the end of this call, you're going to be able to have a full-fledged system on how to automate and systematize your entire portfolio of properties. And the way we're going to do that and help you achieve that is, okay, let's talk about process. What do you think that might be? And the way we're going to do that is by showing you how you can have an automated tenant management system to be able to make sure that your rental properties are collected on time in a timely fashion month after month without you chasing the tenants or even talking to them, so that you'll be able to focus on the more important things in life. Okay, that's the how. Okay, so remember to always just be very clear about the end result and don't mix it with here's what I'm going to be doing. Okay, because here's what you're going to be, because that's not what they care about. They only care about the outcome. Like why should I book, or rather now why should I show up? right? What's in it for me? And if you can be very clear about the outcome, right, that is when the show-up rate is going to be significantly higher. Okay?
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome. Okay, so once we are clear on the result versus the outcome, next thing we're going to do is now we can remind them again, because now they're excited. Like, oh man, I'm going to be able to get this result process. So this is when you want to be able to remind them to put it into their calendars. Okay? So all you got to do right now, so how do we put in a calendar? So this could be like, so all you got to do right now is take out your phones, or maybe if you're on a laptop, put it in your calendar right now. Okay, lock in the date and time. Okay, remind them to put it on a calendar. So all you got to do right now is take out your phones, put it in your calendar. All right, very simple. Straightforward call to action. And number 5. Okay, I'm going to show you the 3 different levels of doing this, okay? Now this show up part, here's the first level. So all you got to do right now is take out your calendars, put in the time and date of that strategy session, and ultimately show up. Look, my team and I, we're going to be taking time off to schedule you in, and by booking this call, we are literally going to show up and be respectful of your time. So please be respectful of my team's time the same way we are respectful of your time. Okay, show up. So notice what I'm saying over here. I'm saying respect our time the same way we respect yours. Okay, so let me say that again. Right, so lock in the date and time in your calendar right now, and ultimately show up. Okay, because my team and I, we are going to be taking time off, and in fact, we are denying somebody else a slot. So be respectful of our time the same way we are respectful of yours. Now, the next level is if you want to be able to be a little more strict, is you could say there's some sort of penalty for canceling. When I say penalty, it will be something like, let me give you an example. So this could be, the next level could be, and if you really do need to cancel, please let us know in advance, because when there are last minute cancellation calls, we almost never do reschedules for no-shows. Okay, so there's like a penalty. It's like you're just saying that if there are complete no-shows, we don't reschedule. Okay, sometimes a little bit more harsh is because this is, if it's a free call, right? Because this is a free call, if there are no shows, there will be a $97 charge if you do decide to have a future call with us, right? That would be like a penalty for a no-show. So you want to think about, right? Do you want, this is like the next level, right? It's like whenever there's a no-show, your first option is you don't do reschedules. So if it's a no-show, that's it. Like they're not allowed to reschedule ever. Okay. Or if they do decide if there's a no-show, if they want to schedule a future call, it's going to be $97 or some sort of fee. Or the last level is you could say, this is what I said in my Black Friday campaign. I said, so lock in your calendar, show up, be respectful of my team's time the same way we're respectful of your time. And finally, if you feel that you can't make it last minute, please let us know, because a complete no-show is going to result in your name and email being blacklisted in our system. Okay, so this would be like the strictest way to enforce this. Okay, complete no-shows will be blacklisted from our system. And by the way, we actually do that. You know, we're not just saying it for the sake of saying it. If somebody can't make it and reschedules, we understand. But if somebody's a complete no-show, we blacklist that name and email. Okay, because that means just, you know, somebody that doesn't respect the time and is not worthy of your attention in future either. It's different if they actually let you know and they say, hey, my call's in an hour's time. I apologize for the last minute thing, but something popped up. We get that. Okay, rescheduling is fine. A complete no-show by completely ghosting, that's not. Okay, so you can decide which level you want to be able to use. Okay, this is the one that we personally use. Okay, so here's what I'd like you to do next now. I would like you to complete this confirmation script of yours, because this is going to be something that you will be doing today. Okay, so for those of you over here, once the virtual event is over, we are going to be shooting this video here. For those of you that's on virtual, this is one of your tasks today. While they are shooting the video here in the studio, you are going to be shooting this video on your own, okay, that follows this script. So let me give you guys 3 minutes to complete this script utilizing this format. And then after that, we will move on to the next step. Okay, you have 3 minutes to polish this up. Right, please continue. Team, could I have just the music down for a second? And then just swap over for me a second. Real quick, Victoria Griggs asked a great question. I just wanted to address that before I give you guys time to continue. She said, during part 3, should we reference the fact that there'll be an opportunity to work with each other? Great point. Now, if you choose to, okay, this will be under an optional thing, okay, and over here. If you choose to, you can again reiterate the fact that there might be an offer. Okay? So, great question, Victoria. If you choose to, this is optional, because you've already said it on the page and you've already said it on the sales video. But if you choose to, you can say, so the way we're going to do that is looking at step 1, 2, 3, or department 1, 2, 3. Now, at the end of this call, you might decide that, hey, I want to be able to do this myself. If that's you, great. Or you might decide, hey, I want to be able to work with you and your team to be able to make that happen. Let's see if we are the right fit to work with each other. Right? But that's basically what we're going to be doing. Okay, so the way you could frame this properly is one of these two things will happen. Okay, so this would be process, right? So it would be like, for Starlex's example, it would be, and the way we're going to be doing that is we're going to look at your, how leveraged you are, what type of investor profile you're like, what type of deals you should be looking at. And by the end of this call, one of these two things will happen. The first thing that will happen is, hey Stella, this sounds great. I want to be able to do it on my own right now. Thank you for giving me the clarity. If that's you, That's great. Your second outcome could be, hey Stella, this sounds amazing. I want to be able to get faster results in less time, and I would like to be able to work with you. Now, whatever outcome is, you are going to be able to walk out of this call with better clarity to be able to make a much better informed decision. So all you got to do now is log into your calendar, take out your phone, show up, yada, 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 right? Great question. This is something that you can do, right? This will be optional because you've already said it on the sales video, you've already said it on the on page as well. But if you choose to, you can reiterate this on the thank you video, right? Great point. Okay, please continue. now that we have completed this confirmation script, very similar to yesterday, writing down this script, you probably guessed from yesterday's exercise, is going to be very, very different compared to when you actually attempt to do it or when you shoot the video. For those of you that's virtual that didn't see what happened over here, they will tell you that once all of them had their script crafted, written out, when it came to doing it, it's totally different, right? The first video took how long was that session? 45 minutes, maybe an hour, okay? So don't be too hard on yourself if you felt like, oh man, I tried to do this video on my own. It was horrible. It sucked. Sucking is part of the process. That's what she said. Can't believe I made it. Anyway, so in other words, what I'm trying to get you to do is to be able to practice in a safe space and practice it over here where it's a lot less embarrassing, where it's a lot less costly, okay, to get it right. Okay, so here's what you're going to practice in a moment, okay? In a moment, you're going to practice as though this is the real thing. You're not going to practice as though you are explaining it to other people in a group. You're going to you're going to present it as though this is the actual confirmation video. Bernice says you can actually use a teleprompter app. Yes, you guys don't realize this, but if you guys swap over to that, we actually placed, team, you swap over to that angle. I personally don't use teleprompters, but towards the end, we actually utilize the teleprompter over here. We had the whole script running over here, okay? Unless you really have to, you can use a teleprompter, but for me, I think, yes, it's helpful for beginners, but eventually you want to practice so that it's something that, you can do without, it's a life skill in marketing, put it this way, okay? So here's what's going to happen. You guys, just like yesterday, you're going to get into your little groups over here, and you're going to practice this based on what you wrote down, because that's the video you guys are going to be shooting today. Same thing with you guys in virtual. This is going to be your homework while they are shooting the videos here in this studio. If you are an overachiever, if you're an action taker, you should be shooting this video as well. And a much better way to do it is if you got practice first, because writing it down is one thing, but doing it is a totally different thing. I want you to bring the energy. I want you to be engaged. I want you to be switching on your videos, your cameras, and do this as though this is the actual video that goes onto the confirmation page. Okay? Now, in your groups, I'm going to put you in groups of 5-ish people. It's not going to be long. Okay? This is not a long exercise. You guys time yourselves 2 minutes per person. Okay? The goal is just to make sure that you're getting the flow right. And also, when you can listen to other people doing it, you'll be able to get ideas and you'll be learning from through the lens and perspective of somebody else as well. Okay? So, I'm going to move you guys virtually into this group right now. Guys, understand something. This is not break, okay? The break is coming soon. There's still going to be one important segment before I take a break. So let's move you into groups right now. I'll see you guys back in about 10 minutes. And for those of you that's here in this studio, turn the chairs around. Share this script with your group, right? 2 minutes per person.